Hey again, Bible Studies for Life student ministry leaders. It's great to be back with you. I say this over and over and over again, but it's because I truly mean it. Appreciate so much, one, you're trusting Lifeway and Bible Studies for Life for discipleship among your students. But beyond that, thank you for your investment, because without you guys, it wouldn't work the way that God's designed it to work in the churches. You truly are making a big difference. We're in session 6. The title is Hate Your Family. Again, we're looking at the hard sayings of Jesus, and this is a hard one. The scripture is Luke chapter 14, verses 25 through 35. And here's the main point. Loving Jesus should be so intense it makes everything else looks like hate. As Jesus neared the end of his ministry, the resistance that he would face became more and more intense. The religious leaders, they had for a while now been looking for a way to destroy him, literally to murder him. And Jesus knew that as he went throughout his ministry, he was coming nearer and nearer to the cross. And he wanted to help people to understand what it meant to be associated with him. And what he said is this: you can't be Jesus' disciple if you don't hate your parents, wife, children, brothers, sisters, even our own lives. Now, when we use words like love and hate, we think about it in an emotional sense. When we love something, we appreciate it, we value it so much that we would do anything for it. But when we hate something, we are disgusted or just dislike something in a really, really strong way. But that's not necessarily the way Scripture uses these words. To love something, it can mean comparatively to choose something over something else. And to hate something means to reject something for the sake of choosing something else. That's what Jesus is using when he uses the idea of love and hate. And what he's saying to the people, again, as he's approaching the end of his ministry on earth, in a physical sense, when he's approaching the cross and just the resistance to him is becoming more intense, he wants people to understand that to be a follower of Jesus means to choose him, to prefer him, to love him over anything else, which involves hating, choosing against, setting aside anything that would interrupt the choices to follow him. He said we must love him so much that the ways we care about anything else looks like hate. We appreciate and value him so much that the way we value other things are basically meaningless, non-existent. That's what it looks like to hate. And to hate our own lives means to be willing to die for Jesus, to die with Jesus, because ultimately Jesus loved us so much, he sacrificed himself for us, and we're called just like that to live lives of sacrifice. We should hate ourselves and anything else that would interrupt us from following Christ. Here's the practical question. Why do you think many people are initially attracted to Jesus? We look at the crowds and they were attracted to Jesus because of the miracles, because he fed them, because he loved them and cared about them in a way that they hadn't experienced from other people. Today, I think a lot of people are drawn to Jesus for those same kind of reasons. There's some benefit in it for them. They want to come to Jesus because he's going to make life easier. He's going to make them rich, or he's going to provide everything that they need in a physical and earthly and material sense that they don't have to worry about anything else. But the truth of the matter is, those things aren't always necessarily true. He has promised to provide everything that we need, but the thing that we need ultimately has to do with eternal things. He's going to provide those and secure us. But in the meantime, we're called to put aside the love for earthly things. People are attracted to Jesus a lot of times because they have their mind set on earthly things and they think he's going to meet our needs in that sense, but they don't understand that we're called to sacrifice the worldly things for the sake of pursuing him in an eternal sense. We must love Jesus so much that anything that would come in the way of following Christ, we hate it. That's what we're called to. And it's a hard saying. Thank you for being willing to work through this, hard work with your students, and help them to understand what it means to truly love Jesus. See you next week for our last session.